Hi, I'm Roxanne Wilson, and welcome to Roxtalks, the podcast that helps network marketers grow their business on social media. And today I have invited Wendy Craig, one of my clients, to really talk to us about her journey on the Instagram sales journey, but how it's really helped her grow. A little bit about Wendy. Wendy is a trained, well, she's a lot of everything, but Wendy is a retired school teacher. She'll let you know she's in her 50s right now. Started network marketing about 4 years ago with a skincare company, but prior to that, an art teacher for elementary school. She also happens to be has educated amongst her district in many different ways, and she's also a certified fitness instructor, as well as she once upon a time owned her own dance studio. She's done a lot of things, and when you listen to her, you won't even realize it because she is so self-assuming. What I love about and what I want you to listen to today is you're going to hear the journey of a woman who was doing all the things that she was told to do by her upline and her network marketing company, but it wasn't working. And rather than saying, I'm out, she calls it stubbornness. She decided to find a better way. If you remember an earlier episode, the first episode of this year, I mentioned what got you here won't get you there. And this is a perfect example of her realizing if she wanted to stick with it, she needed to try something else. And that's when she dove into my training. She was in my beta program actually for my group and one-on-one coaching. And I want you to hear how she's flourished. We're going to be talking a lot about emails today because emails is where she really found her voice. And y'all, she's rocking the emails, and you'll see where that has taken her not only to brand herself, but also to increase her brand even further, and you'll find out what she's going to be doing with it coming up very soon. So let's go ahead and take a dive in and listen to the wonderful Wendy Craig. What's the number one question I'm asked when it comes to growing your business on social media? How do you get more followers? That's a loaded question. I mean, part of it goes through, of course, getting all the steps done correctly so you're palatable and people want to follow you, but you also have to let them know that you're there for business. And the number one way to let people know that you're out there is through hashtags. Hashtags. You're probably not hashtags. Yes, hashtags. And I know that you sighed because hashtags can be daunting. It's hard to figure out the right ones. You don't even know if they're working or how to switch them and all the things. Well, I'm working with my clients and for myself as well too. I was committed to finding the best way to figure out the hashtag thing. And by Jove, I think I found it. It's called Smart Hash, and it's an easy to use app. And when I say easy, I mean user-friendly app that allows you not only to store your hashtags, but also to test your hashtags to know what's working and see that really easily, and switch them out and get ideas for other hashtags. It is hashtag amazing, and I highly recommend that you try it. So to try Smart Hash, which is free by the way, go to Roxtalks podcast. You'll see it right there. Click on a link and you'll get access to the amazing Smart Hash. Wendy, it's so good to see you. Welcome to the podcast.
I'm so excited to be here.
I'm going to just confess for you. I asked Wendy to be a guest on the podcast 3-4 months ago, a while ago. And she would always go, yeah, I got that. I saw it. And just would smile. She didn't say no, but it was like a clear, like, Mama taught me not to say no, so I'm just going to smile.
Yeah.
So
I had to think about it.
Yeah. Yes. Well, I was thrilled when you finally were like, all right, I'm going to do it. I was like, yes. But honestly, you know how I feel. You're never ahead. You're not behind. You're exactly where you need to be. And your journey now is even more inspiring than what your journey was when I asked you. So it's all good. So let's talk about that journey, my dear. You are you're rep for a skincare business, direct sales business. But your story is, goes before that. You are a retired teacher.
Yes.
Now tell me. Yes. What was it about? I want to hear a little background about what was it about joining a network marketing company that was interesting to you in the first place while you're teaching?
A good friend of mine from high school, originally reached out to me, and I saw her and I saw her skin, and she looked amazing, and so I tried the product. Mm-hmm. Loved the product. Originally started. When I joined, I joined just to get the products cheaper, which a lot of people do that, and then they do more, which is what I did. And I found that other people noticed my skin, and on and on and on. And so I started to actively market it, and found out I just loved it. Teaching for me was getting old. I was not loving it anymore. Love the kids, love most of my coworkers, most, but no, I loved them. But I didn't realize I was looking for a way out.
Uh-huh.
But when I started really, really finding that I enjoyed network marketing, I saw there might be a way out of teaching a little bit early.
Yeah, which has been great for you. So the classic story of I liked the products, and next thing you know, I'm good at sharing it, and so I'm going to turn this into a business. And oh, but by the way, I realized I don't even like where I am, so let's move on. Which works,
Right.
which is beautiful. Now, when you started your network marketing business, were you doing the same old, the reach out to 100 or 200 people, message them on Facebook, put some posts up? Like, what was your marketing
Oh
journey?
gosh, yes, yes. I mean, I love my upline. They've been amazing, and that's what I was told to do, and that's what I did.
Mm-hmm,
And it worked for a while.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I was doing events, and as I did more and more events, less and less people came, because only so many in the local area can come to all of them. But and I just saw that I needed something different. That times were changing,
Mm-hmm.
and the same old wasn't working. So
Yeah.
that's why I started learning things from you.
Yay! Which I love because you're such a joy. Tell me, so you weren't doing anything but the same old, what they say to do,
Pretty
and
much.
now you've like transformed in like a beautiful way. I just have to say, you have. I love watching your growth.
Right.
For and we talk about the Instagram sales journey from target market, which even that is a switch for people. Is honing in your target market. Did you find that was a challenge for you or different?
Oh yeah, yeah. And I still struggle with it sometimes. I have to really remember to tell myself, is this reaching out to my target market, this post or this story? And sometimes I still don't get it, but yeah, I never would have. I just thought it was everybody with skin,
Right.
you
That
know,
makes sense. Everyone.
and cold, but no.
No, no. And tell us what's her name?
Her name is Lisa.
Yes. And
Market. She is 48-ish to
mm-hmm,
60.
mm-hmm,
She's looking at an empty nest or is an empty nester. She's me, where I was 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Looking for something more, maybe has a little more time, maybe has a little more money, because the kids are gone and on their own or close to being.
mm-hmm,
Maybe a grandma,
mm-hmm.
um, like I am. And, as far as the business goes, looking for something more, looking to challenge herself. People who like to be challenged. I love a good challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and as far as the products go, they're starting to see that, oh, what are these wrinkles, and yeah, and people that take care of themselves, people that are into fitness. I'm into fitness. That's my target market as well. So it's a lot of it is me.
Well, and I think the you being, what I always say is if your target market is you or a place where you are familiar with, a stage you were in, that is the most familiar target market that you can really hone in on. Not required, but it's a great place to start and really live in. You could live in there your whole business time. So one of the things as we went through, and Wendy was one of my beta launch like group coaching and one-on-one coaching peeps. One of the things I loved about you and I really want to talk about today is you, as we went through the journey, and I'm just going to remind everyone that journey, it's the target market, then getting your Instagram set up correctly and using good business practices, please. And then doing Instagram stories and getting engagement and followers, sliding into DMs, then a lead generator that builds into an email list, and then growing the email system that then grows your business. Now, the
Right.
reason that I say I had to go through all of them is because really, Wendy, where you like really glommed onto and found, like, it's so exciting to see you grow, was in the emails, which is funny because a lot of people don't like to write emails, but you took that on
Right.
really quickly and you've been flourishing with it. How many emails that program started in August of 2019. So how many emails were you writing to your list prior to
Zero.
that?
Zero. My list was on paper,
Okay. Yeah.
old school.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm of a certain age. I like paper. And if I contacted all of them at once ever, or in groups or whatever, it was always through Facebook Messenger.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
until you taught me that you want to get off Facebook, you want to get off social media and have a way to talk to them.
Yes.
I wasn't doing it.
So how many emails do you write on a monthly basis now?
I write 2 a week.
So about 8. You went from 0 to 8 in a short period of time.
Right.
What was it about the emails that you decided that you liked? What identified with you with that?
Well, I liked that you could group them and send them. I could send a group to my Lisas,
Mm-hmm.
my target market. I do have some people on my list who are not my target market, who I still send them emails,
Mm-hmm.
but I changed them.
Mm-hmm.
The emails aren't the same. Sometimes the whole group gets the same email, but it just depends. I liked how you could group them, and I mean you can do that on Facebook Messenger as well, but it's people don't like being added to those groups
Mm-hmm.
when they keep ding ding ding. An email, they just get it once, they read it.
And it feels personal. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it feels more personal. I was able to get a little more personal. I've had little contests. I've had, reply with your favorite da da da, and you'll be put in a drawing for a freebie, that kind of thing. So we can do fun things like that. Yeah.
And you're creative in nature, but so I mean, you're like, I just do this, do that. I do a little this, do that. How do you go about even like 8 emails? Seems daunting to people a month. How do you go about planning out 8 emails?
Well, one of the good things is the email scheduler.
Mm-hmm.
I use, and I know you're not a big fan of MailChimp, but I use MailChimp. I heard that in the last podcast. I'm like, oops.
No, but you're not using your Gmail account, and that is,
No.
yeah. And I want everyone listening, she's using an actual email sending system, so that's important.
Right,
Mm-hmm.
right, and I like it just because I've gotten to know it, because like I said, I'm of a certain age, and it takes me a while sometimes to learn these. But I feel like I've got this one, so I'm going to stick with it for
Nice.
now. And it has the ability to schedule. Now I had to pay for it, and actually, this was one of the things I was going to talk about later. But sometimes you have to pay if you want to do it right.
Aha! Let's pause there for a moment. That's
Yeah.
it. Sometimes you have to pay.
Yeah, I mean, but if I ran a brick and mortar business, I would need to pay rent, lights, utilities. I would have to pay. I might pay a marketer. I might pay. You know what? So I went ahead and signed up for their basic plan, and it allows me to schedule emails. So I can sit down one afternoon, like Sunday afternoon, let's say. I don't have a real good schedule, but I can sit down Sunday afternoon and do 2 weeks worth of emails.
Mm-hmm. You're batching it. You're doing it all, and you tell it what time you want it to send.
Right. It's nice. I travel. I'm getting ready to go out of town tomorrow, and this afternoon I'm going to get my emails done for the whole week, and just have them done. So
I'm going to go back to that. Sometimes you have to pay for it. I'm going to write a book one of these days. It's like the lies we're told when we start direct marketing. I love direct sales. Don't get me wrong, but we're told some things that just aren't accurate. One being, it's your target market is everyone. Another being, the expenses are just the kit, and maybe a monthly thing that you pay to your company, and that is it. That should
Right.
never be it. Like if someone tells you that's all there is to your business, they're wrong, and that's fine that they're wrong, but you need to think and budget and plan for, if I'm going to be running a business, there's going to be tools that I need, and I shouldn't expect for those tools to be free if I want full capabilities. So an email system, it's worth it. And if someone's like, oh my gosh, no, I want you to think about it this way. How much does it cost for you to pay for MailChimp?
It's $8.99 a
Okay.
month.
So think to yourself, that means I need to sell one extra, whatever it is, for the month to pay for and cover that cost. And if you need to put it in those terms and
Right.
say, okay, can I sell
Right.
an extra? I mean, you could say
Right.
that.
And that's I mean, there are bigger packages I could have bought, but that gave me, I wanted the scheduling.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That gave me the scheduling. Yeah, and if you're treating your business like a business, you've gotta pay for some of the tools.
Yes.
If you're treating it like a hobby, maybe you don't.
Yes, I'd agree with that.
Um,
And scale, like you didn't dive to the largest package. You're
mm-mm.
scaling for what's working for you, and then there may be a time where you're like it's time to upgrade even more. Um,
Right.
so I'm not saying spend all of, but it's realistic to do. You need an email system. You need one.
Yes.
And I love what you said about, okay, so you didn't, your list prior was on paper. If anyone listening going, wow, that's so great that Wendy's done all that, but I don't have an email list. I don't have a list to send it out to. What would you say to that, Wendy?
Uh, well, my list started with all my customers. You
Mm-hmm.
do have their emails, most likely.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then I had some emails from events and things that I had done. I put all those in. And then there are ways to get more emails called a lead gen, which I have learned. And I don't know. I guess that.
No, that's right. But you're right. If you, someone is, thank you for that. Because if you're new, you're like, I don't have a list. Do you have clients? If you have clients and you have a list, do you have past clients? Past clients are also people on your list.
Do you have friends who'll let you add them? Just say, hey, can I add you to this? I just want you to let me know what you think about these emails.
Mm-hmm. And what helps with that is then knowing, even if they're never going to be your customer, they know what you're doing, so that when someone else says, hey, wait a moment, I need this, they're like, oh, my friend Wendy. So
Yep.
it's useful. So, okay. So you started we're going to get you from the day you said, okay, I'm going to do this email thing Roxanne's telling me to do. And now you're doing 8 emails, and there's like, it's a joy. I'm on your list. It's a joy to see them. And when they pop up, I'm like, there she goes again. So what was your biggest fear? Maybe you didn't have one in starting an email system.
I guess it's a silly fear, but I didn't
All
want to.
fears are.
I didn't want to see unsubscribes,
Uh-huh.
because I know I unsubscribe from stuff all the time. I mean, I'm just like once a week I go through and I'm like, I don't want that anymore. I just bought that one thing and now I don't want. And the first because you're gonna get unsubscribes. The first one or two I got, I was just like wounded. I was hurt, and then I was like, I think I heard it from you or from somebody. They're not my people.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
It's okay. Don't take it personal. Think about how I go and unsubscribe once a week. It's not personal. It's just too many emails.
Yeah, and
Okay.
they're looking for Lisa. They're not Lisa.
Mm-hmm.
Now that being said, it's still to this day, I have to psych myself up when I open my email list. I'm like, and mine is like really big on the right. It gives me my stats, so it'll tell me like
Mm-hmm.
who clicked through, who opened, who unsubscribed. I'm always like, who is it? And so sometimes I tell myself, don't look, and I'm like, no, Roxanne, you can look. And I'll look at the name. I'm like, okay, so and so at Gmail, you weren't my person. I have to physically say it. Because I am a sensitive person. I have to physically say it. And so I'm like, okay, she wasn't my person. That's okay. And you want to get to your target. So you're totally right.
Right. Well, that just reminded me, something you said just reminded me too. I just remembered about my email list. If you have a team, I have a few people on my team and they have customers.
Mm-hmm.
And I ask them for their customers' emails.
Ah.
And, they checked with their customers and, made sure it was okay. But that way, my team is not always real active, but that way my team's customers see deals. They see everything that maybe my inactive team members don't put out there.
That's
yeah.
So
So
that's genius in a couple ways. It's genius because, first of all, hopefully your downline is also getting on your email list. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. And so you may be inspiring them to be active as well.
Yeah, they're on my list too. Yes.
Love it. It's also genius because if for some reason that downline who's not active says, I'm going to move on, those customers are going to become your customers and they're going to feel like they already know you. That's fantastic. And you're just helping your downline be a better business person by having those emails there for her. And the other thing is, I love that you said that because some people may be thinking right now, wait, but my company sends emails. So why do I need to send emails? Why would you say you need to send emails on top of what your company's sending?
Personal touch, personal experiences with the products, your own before and afters, and just, it's all about relationships and connections. And it's great from the company, but I hardly ever in my email use any of my company graphics. I use my own pictures. Once in a while I will if I don't have time to take one, but people want to see real people doing this, and you get enough emails from companies all over the place. This is from a person. This is from, it's that like, know and trust thing.
That's such a great point because ultimately they did not give the company, especially if you're getting them through a lead generator, or anything for that matter, they decided to buy from you. Right. And while we think, oh wait, they're buying from the company, they're buying from you. And so seeing you and not just a little picture that maybe the company might put like a little favicon of you, but seeing your life, it goes so much further. It creates that attachment so they feel like they know you. Well, you're going to find that there's customers that you've never seen, you've never actually physically met. And so this email and your social media are the ways that they can feel like they are, like you have met, like that you do know well. So I love what you're saying there. And if anyone's thinking, let me just rely on my company's emails, you have to remember, you're not your company. No. You're uniquely and distinctly you. And so showing you off is a powerful thing. Plus we're nosy. Like knowing what a company, like when I open up my Nordstrom email, I'm not thinking Nordstrom's going to tell me like what the actual Nordstrom family is doing. But when I open up Wendy's, I can be like, oh, where did she go today? What's she up to? How does that resonate? What product is she using? So that's fantastic.
Right. Exactly.
So you started finding as you're personalizing it. Did you find that you were able to really carve out who you were as a brand as opposed to
I'm working on that. Okay. Yeah, I'm getting there. But yeah, because sometimes, sometimes I'm all over the place. I have a lot of different interests and a lot of different things going on in my head all at once. And so it's hard to sometimes say, this is my brand, because then something else comes in and I'm like, oh, wait, but I want that to be part of my brand. But I think I'm getting better at it. And the emails, I'm always positive and upbeat. I'm always promoting community. I'm always trying to get my folks to, like I said, reply or email with a reply so I can put the replies out there and kind of introduce people to each other. So I mean, I guess that's part of my brand is I'm trying to be a little more just creating community.
That's absolutely your brand. And that's something that goes even a little deeper is you're trying to make everyone who's on your list feel big and part of something a little bigger, part of one community. You even brand your emails. So even though you don't feel like you have a brand, can you tell us what your newsletter?
Oh, yeah. Once a month. And gosh, I got to get working on February's. Thank you for reminding me. Yes, I have a newsletter that I do once a month, usually on the 15th-ish. and it's called My Second Act. So my brand, I guess I do have a brand. Thank you for pointing.
That's what I'm here for, to remind you. It's okay.
Um, it's only like everywhere on everything I've written.
I know,
But
I know. Use the hashtag all the time, but okay, you're good.
yeah, hashtag My Second Act. This is my second act. I retired and from one act, and now I'm on second act, and so yeah, that my newsletter is called My Second Act. My soon to be blog
Ooh,
someday is
announced
gonna
it. It's official. You said it.
yeah, it's official. Is gonna be My Second Act. And I use the hashtag, and I also use Living Out Loud. I always sign my emails with "Keep Living Out Loud." You know, don't let anybody or anything hold you back.
I'd say you definitely have a brand, by the way. Yes, you have a brand. So one of the things I teach my members is an emails that sell training that talks about the different types of emails. And so one of the types of emails you can send out is a newsletter. And Wendy's chosen to do that halfway through the month. She sends out a newsletter that is about what's going on in her life with some products as well in there, or a product, I should say. What I love is, like you said, you've branded it out. Somewhere in this journey, you figured out, I don't think you knew your brand in August, but you know it
No,
now. So what is it that, and then all of a sudden you're like, look, I have a newsletter. It's my second act. And all of a sudden she started owning the hashtag, which PS, and by the way, if you go to hashtag my second act, the two most popular people you're going to see in that hashtag are Wendy Craig and J-Lo. I'll just mention that because it makes me so happy whenever I look at your tag. I'm like, it's J-Lo and Wendy.
because of some movie that I'm
Hey,
sorry I
the
really
reason
heard of.
does not matter. It's totally okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
when,
I do that. But yeah, my newsletter, for anybody who's wondering what's in your newsletter, my newsletter is always a little intro, what's going on. You know, like if it's this one will be about Valentine's Day, maybe a picture of my grandkids holding their Valentines or something, and then I always do a product focus. It's just a quick little, you know, oh, winter skin got you down, da da da. Try this. I always do a life hack, which is just something like, oh gosh, I don't know, just some little tip or trick that saves me time or whatever, just in cleaning the house or whatever. Then I do a craft or art tip hack because I was an art educator for 25 years. So I did how to cover pillows on my front porch without sewing them, and you can change them for every season. You use lots of safety pins. Nobody knows they're pinned. Who cares?
Smart.
Yeah, and then I always do a I think that's it. Life hack, craft hack, product focus, a little bit about myself. Oh, and I do a biz tip. And that could just be a blog that I found, an interesting article. Usually it's got something to do with second act kind of things. You know, people in their 50s doing new things, or it has something to do with the benefits of a side hustle or that kind of thing.
So what you're doing is
I'm not preaching at them. I just say, here, I found this interesting. Here's the link. Da, da, da.
you're providing value is what you're doing. And you're beautifully providing a variety of value that goes with everything that you're doing. It'd be, you know, if you started giving parasailing value and you don't ever parasail, that'd be very odd, but you're using your actual life experience. And also what you're taught, you keep going back to the target market, your target market, and you go back to what you know, and you're beautifully, and that's, I think, one of the reasons you've soared so well is because you found who you are. And so it's funny when you say, I don't have a brand, somewhere in that you realize, wait a moment, and you came up with some, I don't know, what you say all those ideas in your head at the same time, maybe that was what it was, but you came up with My Second Act. You're on Instagram, and I love that because right now the fastest growing community on Instagram is that age group you're looking at, because they're now going, oh, I'm supposed to leave Facebook and go to Instagram. So for you, you get to dominate that hashtag. You get to dominate all that. When they get there, they find you, and you're like, ta-da, here I am.
Right.
But I love what you're doing on providing value for people, because it's not just about skincare, and it should never be just about skincare or your business.
Right, right. And I know at first, when I first started taking some training from you, and I didn't know anything about creating content. I don't think I ever used the words create content until about August. I'm like, what's that? Um, and now all the time I'm like, could this be? I'll be doing something, and I'm like, could I share this? Would somebody like to know about this? And at first I thought I had nothing to share. I'm like, what do I taught elementary kids. But in my last newsletter, I did an art tip that I said, if you want to improve your drawing skills, here's a little tip, and use it for yourself or use it for your grandkids when and then we tie in people who are my age who have grandkids.
So smart. So smart. So you went from not knowing what content creation was to now you're starting a blog.
Yeah.
Which is all about content. I love that. Right now I'm seeing a lot of network marketers are coming to me or hearing, I'm being told I need to have a brand. I've got to have a blog or a podcast, or what do I do? I don't know. Like, I didn't start network marketing for that. And so what I want to applaud you for, Wendy, is you didn't, not that you ever said that, but you didn't start network marketing for that. That's what you told us. That's not why you started, but you embraced this second act, shall I say. And now you're learning all of these things and you're finding your way. And now you have plenty. And when you came to me and said, I think I want to start a blog, I'm like, yes, because you've been doing it through all your emails. You've been creating that. And so it just makes natural sense. Let me ask you this, your emails, what have you seen? What kind of feedback have you been getting from your email list?
I have a handful of people who reply.
You do?
Interact.
That's awesome.
When I ask them to, when I
you
put
have to
something
ask
out there.
anyone. Yeah, you have to ask to get that.
And honestly, I haven't, knock on wood, I haven't had anybody unsubscribe in months. so that's good. However, I really haven't had a whole lot of new people join my email list lately, either because I've got to get my lead gen, which means I got to get my blog out there.
Yes, but the fact that you've maintained your numbers through that's impressive. That means you're doing not even something right. You're doing a lot of things right, and you have tapped into your audience. How about and I didn't warn you on this, so if you don't remember, that's okay. But what about your open rate?
My what?
The percentage of people opening your emails.
Oh, my open rate. I just heard it. I'm old. Remember, I didn't hear it. It hovers around 35%.
I love how you just said that like it's nothing. Do you know what the standard is for skincare? MailChimp tells you can look it up. It is, I think it's like 10%.
Oh, and see, I get boned when it's like 25%. I'm like, wait, what?
Oh my goodness, Wendy. Yeah, so you're at 35%. So you are trending 25% higher than the industry norm for skincare emails. So first of all, you're doing not even something right. You're doing a lot of things right. Typically, yeah, so just so you know that. Conversion rates, and we're not talking about your conversion rates, but just so the listeners know, when you have an email list, your conversion rate is usually around 1 to 4%, depending on what you're offering and what's going on. But the open rate is very important to all of that. And one of the reasons we don't want people on there who aren't interested is because they mess up your open rate, they mess up your conversion rate. You want to be able to go, all right, I'm going to send out this email because this is really important. I've got a special or whatever, and know that X amount of people are going to open it. And then through that, you know that X amount of people are going to buy. You want those stats to be awesome. So kudos to you, Miss 35%, thinking like, oh, boo. That's huge. That is huge.
Well, thank you. I want to see half, though.
Well, okay. Well, when you get that, let us know. We'll have you back. That's how you did that. The other thing, for those listening, wait, only 35%? Like you were thinking, right? I want you to think about it this way. When you're on social media, and I am a lover of Instagram, we know I love social media, period. So I'm not poo-pooing social media. But when you post something on social media, you are a blip on their screen. they're going to see it, hopefully, but you don't know what percentage are seeing it, or you can look at the stats. If you have a business account like on Instagram, you can see those stats. The fact that you have a one-on-one and you're directly going into someone's inbox is so very powerful. It raises the numbers for everything. But you can't even get that inbox connection if you don't have the social media connection going. It's all part and parcel with each other. It's so when someone asks, like, did you get that from Instagram or did you get that from your email list? Sometimes you can't even really say because you're making that funnel that's growing it all and is making it homogeneous. But what I'm finding is people are getting people to get people off email, off the internet and onto email. Social media onto email is tough. But then there are people who get bottlenecked in I have a list, now what I do with them. And what I love seeing is what you've done with them is a beautiful thing. Now you have a community. And Wendy, I just want to just like pour on you a little bit, because now if for some reason you decide, you know what, skincare is not what I want to do, or skincare is not the only thing I want to do, you have a community of people who are willing to follow you and listen to you with whatever your second act brings.
True.
That is one of the reasons that some network marketing companies actually don't allow their consultants to have email lists. True story. I learned that then. I was like, excuse me? You're not allowed to have an email list? And you got to wonder, why wouldn't they let me have my own email list? Well, because you're identifying with those people. But the fact of the matter is, if you're a CEO of your business, you need to find a business that's letting you have an email list, first of all, but you have to do something with them. That way, you never feel stuck. You never feel like they're following Wendy. They're not following your network marketing company. Those people are yours.
Right.
Which is so exciting.
Right.
Anything else you want to add on the email front or anything?
No, I get just, I'm so glad that, I found you and I found this training, because I've been involved in my business for 4 years, and a lot of people in the 4 years that I've been around, I've seen a lot of people come and go, and I'm just too stubborn. And in about the past year, I've decided that this is not a hobby. This is my business. And I don't know how I would have given up a long time ago without knowing these new techniques and things. So anybody that's hemming and hawing about, oh gosh, I don't know anything about Instagram and it's going to take me too long to learn it. It's easy, but it's not easy. I mean, you have to put the work in, but it's where it's at. And if you want to stay relevant and if you want to grow, you've got to. So
thank you for that. Thank you. I'm gonna leave that right there. Thank you. We're going to take a break, because sometimes when I don't have anything to say, that's what we do. And we're going to be right back with the tech tip. We're going to keep Wendy with us so we can go over the tech tips and the mindset moment. We're going to make you do both. Okay?
Okay.
We are back with Wendy. Hello, Wendy. Wendy's been talking to us about her journey. And I hope that I know you've learned so much about not just the mechanics of why an email system is important and what to do and how often to do it, but more importantly, what you will find going on that journey of, okay, I'm going to have an email list, and all right, now I'm going to do something with it. So, and P.S., by the way, I should have said this before, but Wendy, this blog, we need to know when this blog is coming out.
Oh, you're going to put me on the spot.
I am.
Okay. Let's say, I think I told you middle of, oh goodness, it's already the second.
Sure did.
Middle to end of February.
Okay. All right. Middle to end of February. That means that I'm going to put a link to this blog on Roxtalks podcast for this episode. Okay. So that people can find you. Okay. All right. Excellent. So I wanted you to stick around and talk to us about a tech tip. What's a tech tip that has been great for you through your journey?
Well, I actually had something I was going to talk about. Well, one was the scheduling. Find an email app or whatever that allows you to schedule,
Hmm.
because that has been the coolest lifesaver in the world for me. Um,
And
be,
on that too, I'm going to pause you. Having that email system, we talked about open rates earlier. You will not know. You have no idea how many people open your email if you don't have an email system.
yeah, and I think with what I pay for, I get even more analytics.
Nice, nice.
So if you get what you pay for. And if you want to know how many people open and if you want to be able to schedule, you just are going to have to work it over.
Hmm.
Um and same thing with, I know you always coach for if your Instagram account should be a business account.
Hmm.
So I look at those analytics every so often that you get if it's a business account. And, I look to see in that 50 to 54 women, am I, and I'm like, good, good. Okay. This many of my followers are in my, yeah, you got to have a business page. And it's still, at least for now, free
It's free.
on Instagram. So yeah.
Love that.
So yeah, scheduling, gotta get an email with scheduling and with some analytics. But this was I just found this out yesterday. I have not done it yet. But my son, I have two amazing grown sons. One of them is an excellent writer, and he's going to be my writing coach for my
Ooh,
blog. he's
nice.
he's going to be my editor. I will email him everything and make him look at it first. So that's his forte.
Nice.
But my other son is a software developer
Wow.
and extraordinaire. And I mean, he's just like, I don't even know what he does, but it's way too technical for me. But I was talking with him on the phone yesterday about getting my blog set up,
Hmm.
and you need a domain name.
Hmm.
You need a host.
Host, yeah, hosting site.
You need a host. He sent me to, and I've just played around with it a little bit. He sent me to Namecheap.
Hmm.
And it looks pretty good. He said that's the low. He thinks it's the best for the cost,
And
best value.
name cheap to buy domains or to have your host your blog.
Both.
Oh, nice,
You
nice.
can do both there. From what I understand, like I said, I've only played around in it a little bit, but it looks like you can do both there.
Awesome.
And I was talking about how I wanted my second act dot whatever, and that it was taken.
Yeah, of
And
course.
so I said, "Well, Colin, how do I? What should I do to tweak that? So should I use a two and an nd and that kind of thing?" He said, "Mom," he said, why do you want it to be a .com?
Hmm.
Why do you want it to be a .net?" I said, "Well, it won't show up in searches, or it won't." He said, "No, no, no, that's a fallacy. That's an old school thinking. You do
Uh-huh.
not have to have a .com." There are, and so I just took a few minutes last night, and I didn't have much time, but so I typed in my second act, just my second act, and in Namecheap, zillions of different choices of my second act. One that I really liked was my second act life.
Oh,
Yeah, that might be it. Um, and I think he said there was one a .me, which is interesting
there
too.
is a dot me. That's right. Hmm.
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 So if that's available, that might be it, maybe. But for branding yourself, or for a blog, or for whatever you need a domain name for, you don't have to. That's an old school thinking. You don't have to have .com .net.
True.
Um,
Good
so
point.
if it's taken in .com or .net, you can have it some other way. And he also told me, because I said, "Well, my second act, somebody doing a search might not put in the words my second act and it won't come up." And he said, "Mom," and I thought you'd like this. He said, "Mom, content is king." He said, "It does not matter what your domain name is, as much as if your content is good. If your content is good, it will show up in searches."
Bam. You're
So, and he said a different .me or whatever may actually make you stand out more
interesting.
and make people remember um, your domain.
I love it. I love it. Look at that. You raised him well and he gave you some good tidbits. So for those looking at the blog sphere, this is really eye-opening for them.
Mhm, mhm. And what's funny is 6 months ago, I wouldn't have known half of what I just said.
You come a long way, baby. We'll be right back with the mindset moment. We are talking to Wendy Craig from My Second Act. We'll find out soon. Great
Yes.
to have you. And Wendy, I'd love for you to talk and give us impart a little bit of mindset on us. So the mindset moment is yours. You have the floor.
I wrote a couple things down.
Please.
Number one, you're never too old. I'm 54, proudly 54 years old, and I'm learning this. I'm loving it. I'm having fun. I feel like I am, just the whole learning how to use Instagram. And who knew I'd be blogging? I'm not blogging yet, but I will be. And you're never too old. So, don't be afraid to dive in.
Let me pause and just say, Wendy I love 54 is not old. Even though it's older than JLo, it's still not old. But I always tell people this when they say, Roxanne, I can't learn this. I can't learn Instagram. I'm too old. I'm 50 something. I'm like, my oldest clients are in their 70s. So, and they're doing it and they're rocking it. So what is your excuse?
Yeah. Well, I wrote this down. I said, my mother is 95 and she's on Facebook.
Boom.
So if she can do it, you can do it. Yeah. She's a lurker. She doesn't post much, but she's there because she knows everything that's going on. Baby steps each day, chunk everything, just touch your business every day. You don't have to blow it out of the water every day, but just touch it every day and get one thing good and then branch out. For me, it was emails. Now I'm branching out to blog, and then we'll see what's next.
I love that.
So those are my mindset moments.
That's fantastic. Thank you, Wendy. This has been such a fantastic and really empowering session with you and conversation. So thank you.
It's been fun.
Yeah, and thank you for finally saying yes. Hello. Good day.
Not scary at all. Anybody else considering, it's not scary at all.
Boom. I'm like a lamb. I'm a lamb. So yes. Thanks, Wendy. All right, what's on your bucket list for March? I'm hoping that maybe possibly you're ready to get this social media thing going, mainly your Instagram. The Instagram Stories 5-Day Challenge is returning next week. And this is the perfect time for you to say, yes, Roxanne, I'm in, I'm going to do it. The exact date of the start is the 9th. So March 9th, we will be doing a new round of the Instagram challenge. Now here's why this Instagram Stories 5-Day Challenge is so great. It is going to turn you into a actual business person on your Instagram, someone who, but when I say that, I don't mean that you're posting all of your business on Instagram and only your business. You're going to learn all of the fundamentals and the keys to using the stories to grow your followers, your engagement, and your business. It's 5 days. It is a challenge. And when I say challenge, I mean challenge. And y'all, it is #worth it. Top rated, those who've taken it have learned so much and have gone on to grow their business on Instagram in major ways. And I know that you can too, but you can't if you don't do the challenge. So join me for the challenge. To find out more information, just go to www.socialstoriesmembership.com and you can join right there. I can't wait to see you in the challenge. Bye. I love to end every episode with a little like, where you at, Roxanne? And I do that so you know that I'm not just someone who is like, do this, but someone who's going through it as well too, and is building her business and having the highs and lows that go along with that. We are recording this February 2nd, so we're a little bit ahead. And so what am I doing right now? I'm getting ready and ramping up for what I am praying is going to be an amazing February. I've made a lot of decisions and movements in my business that I'm some of them last year that are now coming to fruition, some of them even like this month and last month, that all need to come into place. Let's make this happen. You make some gambles, and it seems scary, right? You're like, I made a decision to join such and such or do such and such, and I've done those things. And so now it's all coming to play. Main thing being that coming up very soon is my very first summit that I'm hosting. So Roxtalks podcast is presenting the social media for network marketers summit. And it's all steams go. Literally tomorrow, because this is a Sunday, the Super Bowl Sunday that we are recording this, or the big game Sunday, I should say. I have 4 interviews set up with 4 of the guests from the summit. So it's like, this is major recording mode month, but also I agreed to do a 5-day Instagram stories challenge that's starting in 9 days. You're like, what? Typically the plan was not February, but my members really asked for it. They wanted their downlines to have an opportunity to do it. And rather than make them wait in a month and a half, I said, okay. So we're doing that. That's happening. Come hell or high water. Plus also providing great service for my members. So it's a lot. You know, I don't like the B word, so I'm not going to say I'm B, but I love what I'm doing. And so that really helps it. But also I'm realizing that I need to be pouring into myself more. My cup is getting empty. And so I have gotten back to the basics. A podcast that I love listening to that I hadn't been listening to enough lately that I'm back on the shtick with is Dr. Shannon Irvine, like the city, her podcast. And so I have been listening to that more again, just getting my mind right, because sometimes when you're doing so much pouring out, you get empty. When you get empty, you can't pour out, and you just feel empty. And so I'm working on that. And also, you know, with everything that's been happening in the world, we are like exactly a week from the loss of 9 lives in that horrible helicopter crash in Calabasas. Just a little perspective. I do live in Orange County, which is where they all are from. And so it's been interesting. I didn't know any of them personally. But it doesn't matter, right? It really doesn't matter. The loss of life, whether it's an accomplished life like Kobe Bryant or a life just beginning like the 3 13-year-old girls who passed, it is a wake-up call for many. And you know, I'll be honest with you, I haven't said much about it, and you'll be listening to this like a month later than what happened, but because I was just taking it all in, really, truly, and living in Orange County, you hear a lot. And my gym happens to be the gym that Kobe Bryant has gone to for decades. And so being at the gym this week and just hearing people who've been members that long, what they had to say about it, and talking about an actual human, not a star, was a lot of perspective. And then I did do that deep dive down Vanessa Bryant's Instagram, and and just listening. And my biggest takeaway, I think for me, because last half of last year was a big wake up call, a big one, which I shan't forget. I hope I don't forget. Just the reality of mortality in my circle, my tight circles, lives. That really hit. That's a reality for me. I understand that those that I love and even myself, we're not going to live forever. But I really seeing, for me, y'all, I'm very close to my father, and watching just the girl dad hashtag and trend going on, and seeing someone who was obviously an amazing father to 4 girls, that really touched me. And so I hope that this whole thing, this whole tragedy, that there is beauty in the ashes, and that it will cause people to live life and just remember how special life is, and appreciate even those moments where you feel like you're running behind or you're not doing everything right. You get a chance to wake up and do it again, and that's a special thing. And so maybe for you in your business, wherever you are right now, if you feel like I'm not doing it, I'm not cutting it, you get to wake up. You got to wake up today and make a difference and do something different. We don't know that tomorrow is a guarantee. In fact, it's not a guarantee, but right now, this second is. So use this time that you have in a way where you can say that you are living your best life. That's all. So I want to remind you that you are not ahead. You're not behind. You are exactly where you're supposed to be. And I am honored that I get to be here with you. I'll see you next week. Bye.